Well, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. And it gives me a lot of pleasure to have you here because I'm speaking tonight with an amazing woman who is a very good friend of mine. Her name is Alex Lord. And Alex has a truly inspirational story to share with us with her journey through life having multiple sclerosis. And what we're going to be talking about is, well, first we're going to hear from Alex and hear about that journey, but most importantly, what's happened to her in the last 12 months and how things have changed and what test-based nutrition is, what it means to correct some nutritional imbalances and how profoundly that can have a positive impact on someone's health. So thank you, Alex, for joining us.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here and share my story with everybody.
Thanks. And what we'll do is we'll give everyone the opportunity to put some questions in the chat room by all means, because after Alex shares her story, I'll be doing a brief presentation and then we'll have an opportunity for some question and answers. So thank you.
Thank you.
So Alex, if you'd like to just please share with us tonight, if you can just share with the audience, explain what is multiple sclerosis and of course how that's impacted your life and what your life has been like over the past 30 years.
Yes, thank you. I shall. So I've had multiple sclerosis for 30 years. Multiple sclerosis, for those of you who don't know, is an autoimmune disease that affects the central nervous system, which is the brain and the spinal cord. And it's where the myelin sheath, which is the protective coating or insulation over the nerve fibres, destroys itself and damages the nerves. And so the communication between the brain and the body is distorted, both messages coming to and from. Multiple sclerosis has many varied symptoms, from visionary loss to fatigue, to pain, to numbness, to pins and needles, to spasming. And unfortunately, there is no cure. So particularly over the last 5 years or so, I've developed weakness on my right side, particularly my right leg. I've got rigidity in that right leg, but also my toes and my foot go into involuntary spasm. The spasm in my toes is called clawing, and that makes it extremely difficult to walk. Also, another significant thing that I've experienced is that very debilitating chronic fatigue and substantial brain fog. I ended up some time ago having to use a stick and a knee brace to aid my mobility. And I became a prisoner of my own couch, where I was so tired from not really doing very much. And this became very depressing, and I lost all self-belief and motivation.
It's been a tough journey, Alex, hasn't it?
It has indeed.
And I think, you know, when I came across Zanzino as a test-based nutritional concept, that I was seeing improvements in people's health, you were one of the people that came to mind that I thought, you know what, I think I need to share this with you because I truly believe that, you know, it could make a difference. Because at that time, it was like 12 months ago, where were you seeing yourself as far as having a condition like this, and what was your future looking like for you at that time?
Look, I had lost some weight. I thought maybe that would help. I'd tried lots of different diets that, you know, MS societies recommend, paleo, etc., cutting out grains. Nothing seemed to make any substantial change. Look, certainly exercise was very good, but in my symptoms, it didn't make a great deal of change, unfortunately. So, you know, I was at a lost end. I thought, well, you know, at least I'm exercising, but I could, you know, I feared my future as far as my mobility and, you know, feeling good about myself or feeling positive about living a somewhat normal physical life.
And actually, when I came to you with this concept of improving your cellular health, you were actually started at CrossFit, hadn't you? So you
I had indeed.
an exercise regime. So tell me about that.
Well, I started at CrossFit. I was introduced to it after I had seen a physio who recognised that my MS had gotten, well, my mobility through MS had gotten so poor that she recommended I use a stick and a knee brace. And she took me and introduced me to CrossFit and said, look, the exercise at least would help to strengthen me a little bit and to maybe prevent me from having falls. I was having a lot of falls. I fractured my coccyx because I was unsteady. And that was my beginning journey. Through CrossFit, and now I'd never been to a gym in my life, realised that the release of endorphins were a very positive thing for me, and I guess for anybody. The exercise was great, but unfortunately the exhaustion after it was still there.
Exactly. And so when I approached you and said, hey, Alex, I want you to take a look at a test-based nutritional concept that I believed could improve your cellular health, what did you think? What were your thoughts?
Look, I jumped at it at first, just in the concept of maybe improving my cellular health. Coming from, I'm a registered nurse by profession, coming from a, you know, medical sort of background, I realised the value of, or the importance of having good cellular health. And as you explained to me more and more about it and the science behind it, and particularly the most important thing for me was that it was test-based, not guess-based, I was sold.
And that's really important what you just said, test-based, not guess-based, because there's a lot of products out on the market that are available, and people are constantly looking for solutions when you're progressing down this path with what you've experienced. So I guess that was quite reassuring.
Look, I'm on a lot of the MS support groups, and people are constantly reaching out for help, for any suggestion, for anything that you know could change their symptoms and change their struggle through life. So for me, this was a no-brainer.
So I was excited because I thought, you know, Alex, let's give it a go. Let's see what it can do for you, because I had personally seen my own improvements in health, and I'd started to support a lot of other people improve their health. So I was really keen to share this with Alex as my close friend, and see what it could do for her. So, Alex, do you want to explain what we did in the first instance while I bring up your test results?
Yes, certainly. So as I was saying, this the balance oil and the product, it's all a test-based situation, so that it's a dry blood test, so just a prick of a finger that you release a few drops of blood, and it the results that come back give you an analysis of your omega-6 to 3 ratio.
And that's exactly what we can see now on the screen, Alex. This was your result. Yes.
Which optimally should be about 3 to 1. And I was horrified to discover that mine was 18.2 to 1, and I was grossly out of balance.
And yeah, Alex, when I came to you, like you were exercising, you had lost weight.
Yes, I had.
How was your diet then? How would you describe your diet at that point?
My diet, I had changed. Look, I'd lost quite a bit of weight then. I think I had lost about 8, maybe 9 kilos then. So I'd improved my diet in that, you know, I was eating a high protein, low carb, no fat diet. So I thought, you know, that had to be good. That had, you know, so when I saw that my ratio was 18.2 to 1, I sort of thought, my God, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah,
I'm trying now to exercise. I'm eating well. I've lost weight. And there are these horrific results.
Yeah. And it's really interesting because, like, as you said, we've got a history of being nurses, we're into
Yes.
health, where we want to do the right things, but we're really shocked because there's real general lack of awareness about essential fatty acids. And so this is, like you said, it's a finger prick blood test you can take. And these are the indicators that we're looking at. So most importantly, omega-6 to 3. And I'm going to share a little bit more information in a moment. So I'll explain that. But like Alex said, that shouldn't be greater than 3 to 1, meaning 3 parts omega-6 to 3 parts omega-3. And when you're unbalanced and you have too much omega-6, that's when you're existing in a pro-inflammatory state. And this is all happening at a cellular level, isn't it?
Yes, that's right.
That was the first alarm bell. As we can see, it's red. It's an alarm bell for not good. And the protection value is another indicator that we look at, where we're assessing how well your cells are able to prevent further oxidative damage and stress. It's also a cardiovascular indicator, that one, and you had 0 protection. So that's always alarming when I show that to people. And the other, go on.
The thing that I derive from this is that since that time, and I've learned so much, I speak to a lot of people and people say to me, as I thought the same, oh yes, but look, my weight's good, I'm eating well, I'm exercising, look, I'm fine. And here's the result of fine, 18.2 to 1.
Yeah.
So to me, the moral of the story is you really and honestly think that by eating well and exercising, you're fine, but you really need a proper clinical window into your health like this is.
That's right.
Because you have no idea.
And the other indicator there, we've got the omega-3 index, and that's another World Health Organization recommendation. It should be 8%, and you were sitting at 2.1%. So insufficient with what your body needs to function optimally.
Extraordinary.
Mental strength is another indicator, and cognitive function is really important for everyone, but for in multiple sclerosis, that has a profound effect in certain conditions, and yours is one of them. And the cell membrane fluidity. So essential fats are the building block of every cell in our body, and our cells will function well if that ratio of omega-6 to 3 is in balance. Arachidonic acid is your omega-6. So that's a bit an overview, but the test itself is actually quite comprehensive. There's a lot more analysis that we go into. So Alex, what happened after we took this test? What did you do?
Oh my goodness. I had my cup and my balance oil out every night, ready to go. I didn't miss a single day in my first 120 days. I was determined that one way or the other, I was going to get that ratio down. I was excited to see what the results would be. And I was astonished at how quickly my symptoms of multiple sclerosis improved and changed. Within 2 to 3 weeks, I saw changes.
What changes were they, Alex? Because I've just put your results up here for the 120 days, but before we got to that, you were noticing physiological improvements?
Within 2 to 3 weeks, I thought this is, being a bit of a skeptic, I sort of thought this is a bit odd, it can't be right. I wasn't feeling quite so tired. I'd come home from CrossFit instead of snoring on the couch. I sort of thought, I might just go and pull some weeds, do some gardening. I thought, this is strange. And I thought, this will knock me around in the afternoon. No, I was all right. I had a rest, but I didn't go to sleep. So that's the first thing I noticed, was that my energy levels really had started to improve.
And as you can see here, Alex, obviously this is 120 days later when we did the second test, but there's a dramatic improvement in all parameters. And of course, as you continue to stay on the balance oil, obviously it continues to improve, and we do have to do another test, which we're going to do in the year mark. So I'll be excited to share those results. So that was really powerful. So thank
Then
you for sharing that.
progressively, then I thought, this is peculiar. My toes feel a bit different. And I noticed that the spasm, and I had changed none of my multiple sclerosis medications, the spasm in my toes had lessened. Whereas before, the involuntary spasm, which you can imagine when your toes curl inside your foot, makes it very difficult to walk. I would have that 60%, 70% of the day, where now I really, only when I was doing CrossFit and intense exercise on that foot, that I'd get a little bit of it. So I noticed a great change in that. I wasn't using my stick anymore, and I thought, no, I'm going to take this leg brace off. My leg feels better, and I haven't looked back. No stick, no leg brace ever since.
That's amazing. I'm just absolutely thrilled for you that we've been
as
able
am I.
Yeah, absolutely turn things around, and where you saw a trajectory of a path of continued to health decline, where you're actually seeing an improvement. And it's amazing because the concept that we're talking about is all about correcting these food imbalances that we see today. So instead of it's all about allowing food to be your medicine and medicine your food. Because what we know, Alex, is that when we've looked through history, what we're seeing is things have changed dramatically. And even though you said you were trying to eat well, you were doing all the right things, our modern day diet just lends itself not to have an abundance of vitamins and phyto micronutrients. There's far less fiber in our diet. And certainly the big thing that we see is this imbalance of essential fatty acids. And essential fatty acids is something that we have to consume. Like, our body can't create it. So omega-6 is more vegetable, plant-based oils, where omega-3 is predominantly marine oily fatty fish. So this is the imbalance that we're seeing, because today in our diet, we've moved so far away from, rich soils and farmed organic animals and produce. We're farming our animals. We're eating. They actually suggest now that our diet is 50 to 80% processed and ultra processed foods. So those foods are much higher in sugar. They're nutritionally empty. They're full of calories, but very low in fiber. And the biggest thing is that there's a lot of omega-6s and very little omega-3. So this is why we're seeing such a dramatic shift, which from our DNA, how we were designed to be, is actually that ratio of omega-6 to 3 should be 1-to-1. Now, as we said, Alex said earlier, the World Health Organization, the recommendation for optimal health, the ratio of omega-6 shouldn't exceed 3-to-1. But as time has passed, and it was around the 1960s where Dr. Paul Clayton refers to the nutrition transition, that we're seeing this acceleration or the disparity of these figures. So, sadly, 2022, these are more like the ratios that we're seeing today, which is 25-to-1. And that's when you're entering that silent chronic inflammation, where you may not know it's going on, but it's certainly going to pop up as a disease, a chronic disease, because when you're out of balance with your essential fats, meaning you've got too much omega-6, so you're in that pro-inflammatory state, that means that it affects all parts of your body. And one of the big areas is reduced brain function. So our brain is a third made up of lipids. So we've got to get DHA, omega-3, to the brain. And if not, then you can have brain fog, all sorts of concerns with your memory. You're at risk of depression. You're also at risk of early onset dementia and cognitive decline. The other thing people notice also is very thinning of hair, or hair loss is quite common. Cardiovascular disease is the global number one killer, mortality in cardiovascular disease. We also see people's skin thinning, papery, and more fine lines appearing. So the age process is accelerating. A lot of people notice that. It affects our organs, and certainly one of the big things people think is a sign of aging, where inflammation in the joints and muscle pain, people just consider that normal these days, where in fact that's not normal, it's actually inflammation. And that's what are some of the things that will affect. So it does affect every single cell in our body, as we've seen in Alex's um, test result. And what do I mean by that is that when we're looking at a cell, and we basically exist as a collection of cells, the membrane that's around the cell is predominantly essential fats. And they need to be in that lovely ratio of no greater than 3 to 1. So when Alex had a ratio of 18.2 to 1, her cell membrane started to become rigid because there was too few omega-3 or essential fatty acid omega-3 sitting on the membrane. So that membrane started to harden and become rigid. So that means that the other nutrients that you're taking in, or other medication, is less able to penetrate the wall of the cell membrane. And of course, that engine house, the mitochondria, is the powerhouse of your cells, won't be functioning optimally, and certainly the toxins and wastes are less able to escape. So that's why those cells go on and replicate other unhealthy cells, and they're all connected by the extracellular matrix. And when that starts to generate, depending on what part of the body it's affecting the most, that's where you'll see that chronic disease process appearing. So what we're trying to do with this test-based concept is over 120 days, saturate all the red blood cells, which is the life cycle of the red blood cell, which is 120 days, enabling it to get back into balance. And what happens when that occurs, that membrane of the cell will then become soft and flexible. It will have a lot more omega-3 sitting on the surface of the membrane. So it's soft, nutrients can readily pass through that membrane. The cell signaling, the mitochondria, everything starts to become more optimal. Toxins and waste can escape. And of course, those cells will then go on and replicate other healthy cells. And that's why we see health improvements and people's health changing in a positive way, which is what happened to Alex. So our question to you tonight is, where are you sitting? Do you want to know if you're in that danger zone? Because again, it's beneath the surface, it's silent, it's chronic, and you don't even know it's happening. So what we'd like to do is invite you to get tested and talk to the person who invited you to the call tonight, so you can understand what's happening in your body, and do you have that early warning signs, or is this something that we can help you correct? Because it's easy to do. It's a dry blood spot test. It's very similar to blood glucose. It's just a quick finger prick blood test. The test goes to a third-party independent lab in Norway called Vita. They're very famous laboratory. Oxford, Cambridge, Harvard, all these research universities send dry blood spot testing to this company, and Zinzino is just another business that sends dry blood spot to them. So it is analysed and it's a non-identifying information, which is important. And we've tested over 820,000 samples now globally. So that's an incredible database of fatty acids. It's actually the largest of its kind in the world. And these are the statistics that we're seeing. So this is really alarming. And what we do know is that we have something that can help reduce these statistics and improve things. So it's a very personal approach, because it's looking at you and your unique fatty acid analysis. So what we do then is tailor a solution specifically to your results, and we can offer you also a money back guarantee. So what that means is, if you do the test and your result comes back under 3 to 1, we do offer you a money back guarantee there. So that's amazing. So this is what happened to Alex. We tested her. Her ratio came back 18.2 to 1. She was shocked. She was horrified. She said, Margie, I want to, whatever I need to do, let's do it. She trusted me, but it wasn't just my word saying, I know it'll work. We've got a scientific advisory board that put these patented products together, and they are some of the smartest scientists and leaders in their field in pharmaconutrition. So this is a great body of evidence, test-based nutrition that we work with, and we have absolute confidence in our what we're doing. So the product that we're talking about that Alex said she took for 120 days is called the Balance Oil. Now, everyone knows what fish oil is. This is not fish oil. It is more than fish oil. It's 60% high grade, sustainably wild caught fish, and it's a synergistic formula that's combined with early harvested picule olives, and it's 40% extra virgin olive oil. Now, why are we using this product? Because it works. It mimics nature, and it has the ability to transport the omega molecule to the cell membrane. And what do I mean by that? Well, we know that it's stable in the body for 35 hours. As you can see here, concentrated omega, or omegas that you and I know, which is a fish oil, would be something you can purchase from practitioners, brands, or pharmacies. They predominantly are made in vitamin E, and they oxidize very quickly in comparison to the synergistic formula of the Balance Oil. So they're oxidizing in 9 hours. The Balance Oil is stable, and that's why we can prove to you that we get results in 120 days. So again, it is a world-class product. There's nothing like it on the market. It's sourced from natural ingredients. It's completely natural. A lot of products might suggest they're natural, but this product has no excipients in it from a non-food source. And again, the unique property is the polyphenols. So it's the polyphenols that prevent the oxidation of the product, and that also has vitamin D3, which, Alex, is so important for you. And the other thing I want to point out, again, it's a personalized approach. It's dosed by weight, because Alex's essential fatty acids are very different to a 90-kilo man. So that's really important. We've also got a premium oil that has 4 times more polyphenols in it. That's an incredible product as well. And we also have capsules for those people who don't like the oil, but I personally love the oil like you do, Alex, and take it every day. I wouldn't miss it. Not a day goes by where I know that you're getting those essential fats that your body needs. Aqua X is a patented product. It's water soluble. So for people who don't have a gallbladder or have liver concerns, this product is amazing. It dissolves in water. It tastes like lemon squash, and it is perfect for those people. And of course, vegan is an incredible product recognized by the Vegan Society. It is made from marine algae, and the vegan vitamin D3 is lichen. So again, an incredible product. Our products tick the boxes. It is of the highest quality. And I want to point out that it's approved by Informed Sport. So we do have Olympic athletes, brand ambassadors, sporting teams around the world who are taking our products. And many people are now switching over from their regular product when they realize that they're getting tested and their product doesn't reach the target values. They're changing to Zinzino Balance Oil. So it is suitable for every person at all ages and stages of life, right from birth to death. And in fact, my area of expertise, I work really heavily in the preconception and pregnancy phase. And we know that if a mother has an optimal range of omega-3, her baby has a constant supply of what it needs, and then that improves the health outcome of that baby too. So anyone, obviously breastfeeding mums can take it, and when the baby's then on to solids, you can introduce it to the weight, dosed by weight, remember? So they need it for their brain and cognitive function in learning, and it's an essential fat, so we need to be taking it every day. So the European Food Safety Authority are a very strict governing body, and to get health claims through them, it means this is a very high quality. So we know that we can say that our product improves normal brain function. That's so important for multiple sclerosis. It improves normal heart function and supports a normal immune function. And those things are at the forefront of your mind with your health, Alex.
Yes, absolutely.
We also know it supports normal vision, teeth, bone structure. It does fight oxidative stress and supports normal blood pressure. My mother has normalized her blood pressure after 50 years of being on high blood pressure medication. And it normalizes cell division, triglycerides, protects cells against oxidative stress and damage. It assists with normal absorption and utilization of calcium and phosphorus and normal blood calcium levels, supports normal muscle function, and lowers and reduces blood cholesterol. And of course, in the fetal maternal area, it's so important for the developing brain of the baby and of breastfed infants. So that's really important. So, as we said, we know based on our incredible library of fatty acids, over 820,000 samples now, that 95% of people who take Zinzino Balance oil will be back into balance after 120 days. And as we can see here with Alex's test results from 18.2 to 3.8. But what's most important for Alex is that transition from what she was experiencing 12 months ago to what you are, how you're living your life now. How would you describe that, Alex?
Chalk and cheese.
Okay.
So I describe it in 2 words, 3 words. Honestly, the change is extraordinary. I will never, ever stop taking the balance oil. I would implore anybody who has multiple sclerosis to please get in touch with us, and anybody who knows anybody who has multiple sclerosis, and for that matter, any other autoimmune disease. I honestly believe, having lived through this, that there are such overwhelmingly wonderful benefits that you can achieve through a simple swig of oil once a day.
It is. That's as easy as it is, isn't it?
That's as easy as it is.
Yeah. And as we can see, you are on a trajectory here to even more health improvements, because we know the longer you're on it, that cellular turnover continues to regenerate healthy cells. So
absolutely.
It assists with slowing that metabolic aging process down and preventing further disease processes from happening.
I'm turning back the hands of time, Margie.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you certainly look good. You're looking good.
Thank you. Thank you. And that's another thing. My skin has improved, my nails, my hair, particularly my skin. I don't think it's ever been as good as it is now. And in general, I haven't felt this well, full of energy. And just, got a love for life for many, many, many years.
That's awesome.
So for me, it's extraordinary.
Yeah. Now, your immune health obviously is a concern as well with MS, and that's something that we know you're improving here. And as we said by those European Food Safety Authority, we're supporting a healthy, functioning immune system. Have you noticed anything in that regard?
Well, I'll share a secret with you. I've been around people who didn't know they had COVID but did. I've been around people with influenza who weren't sure they had it but in fact did. And touch wood, I've not been ill. Since I've started taking the balance oil, I think I had a slight head cold, which I was astounded I got over in a day or two. Normally, I'd be at the GP by day 2, wanting antibiotics with a roaring fever. I managed to get over it so quickly. So I know, and I can tell by gardening cuts and things, I think to myself, oh, that looks pretty bad. A day or so later, I think, wow, gee, that's really improved. So I can honestly tell you from physical things that my immune system is powering on all cylinders. It really is.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And that's amazing.
Yeah, so I think reaching a balance with our essential fatty acids is definitely the first step, Alex.
Absolutely.
Improving your health. But I just want to quickly touch on a couple of other products that you have been taking.
Yes.
One is the Xenobotic, because we're talking about the full health protocol. There's 3 pillars. Yes. Xenobotic is a prebiotic fiber, and this is very, very, very important to promoting good gut health. So it is a dietary fiber blend, and a lot of people know about probiotics, which add bacteria to your gut, but a prebiotic is something that feeds the bacteria. And when you have these bacteria in your gut that are a constant warfare. And we know that stress, we know that medication, we know that processed food will all damage your good bacteria. So if our diet is low in fiber, which we know the majority of us are based on the modern diet, we're not getting enough fiber. So what that means is that the bad bacteria start to dominate the good bacteria, and there's that warfare going on. So this is a scientifically formulated slow release fermentation process that feeds the bacteria through the entirety of the colon and makes sure that you are being fed a lot of bacteria in the large bowel, which is where most of the microbiome live. And we also know that if you can achieve that, which you will if you take the xenobiotic every day, there's a very close link between the gut and the brain, sending positive signals to the brain, how you feel, how you think, and your mood. So yeah, so this is a product you've also been using, Alex.
Correct. That's right. That's right. Look, I've managed to maintain a good weight, normal and good bowel function, all those sort of things. So yes, it's a great additive to what I'm taking.
And the other pillar is just to add back nutrients that you may not be getting to your diet. And that is a comprehensive multi-immune food supplement that supports bone and joints and supporting your immune system. So they would suggest that you just take 2 capsules morning and night, and the amount of nutrients or food that would be required to eat to get the nutrients from these 4 capsules would be about 3,400 calories of food. So